Alright guys, so today we're doing an unboxing, and today we're going to be doing a review for a company that is sending us some optics, and this one is the RMR/SRO footprint. So that's this one. So we're going to go ahead and see what it looks like when it's out the box and kind of go from there. What's up guys, Guns for Newbies back here, and today I want to do a review on the Cylee Optic. Before we get too far in the video, I want to thank everyone who's liked, subscribed, and continuously checked into our new video content. So if you like what you're seeing, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to become a supporter of the channel, please, there is a link to the Patreon in the description. Now, in terms of this review, I got sent this optic by the actual company free of charge. However, that's not going to change my opinion on this, or I guess review on it. It's going to be purely honest. So this is not exactly my kind of optic, just because I really like small reticles. So this is an 8 MOA reticle. Yep, 8 MOA green. Now, one thing I've noticed is optic clarity is actually really nice. In terms of fitment, it fits really well. It actually was insanely tight, and what I was noticing is when I was putting this guy on, I actually had to really firmly press that down there, which I really I've never had to do. Usually they fit a little bit more loosely, which actually I prefer this because it made it really easy to zero. I actually only adjusted the up to down, and I was able to shoot some really tight groups with it. However, it is 8 MOA, so I noticed I was not able to be as precise as something with a smaller MOA. It does have an anti-astigmatism feature. I don't have astigmatism, so I can't really comment on that. However, I did notice in this optic, so I guess we'll start. I already have it mounted on there. I wanted to do some longevity review on it, and I just put it on there, did about 250 rounds. The screws seem to be held in just fine. I haven't noticed any issue with them whatsoever. The optic itself is holding zero. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. As you can see, it's pretty lined up with the iron sights. It does have great glass clarity, as you can see. It actually looks like that in real life, so it's really nice. This weapon has been safety checked. If you're looking for a more budget-friendly optic, I think that they might actually make some incredible options. Now, in terms of this one itself, for self-defense, I think it's fantastic. It is... I haven't torture tested it or anything like that. I really never do that with any of them, so it wouldn't be fair for me to just start beating this one to death because it's not anything I do on any of my optics, so I'm not going to do it to this one. In terms of fitment, it does actually fit very well. Once you tighten the screws down, I was able to get it to fully seat. It was able to hold a zero even after 250 shots. I plan to put more downrange with it, but that was just to kind of see what kind of groups I could get. And I believe I have some groups in range video. Now, in terms of everything else, it's very surprising this optic is like $200 or whatever it costs. They literally send you all sorts of screws, like for pretty much whatever platform you have. And there actually is a card, which I think I threw it away, but there is a card in here. I mean, there's just endless screws. And they send you 3 too, just in case one of them gets ruined. You literally have virtually every single screw you need. It's like for Walther, SIG, Canik, HK, H&K, you name it, Glock. There's like this huge card, and it has like every single name on there. So I mean, in terms of value that you get, if you want a bigger reticle, because I do know people that buy 6 MOA reticles and things like that, this resembles a 6 MOA. So you know, that might not be a knock for you. It's not a knock for me. It's just something that I wouldn't personally go for. I've bought I believe 5 MOA, and those have been too big for me as well. So right now I'm actually transitioning to smaller. I have my Holosun 507 comp, which is a 2 MOA, and that's what I prefer in total reticle size. But again, that's not anything to do with the actual optic itself. This one, I will say 250 rounds in, haven't had any sort of issues. Zeroing it was very, very simple. It seems very durable, honestly. I was actually kind of beating it on there when I was like fitting it for the, so that would fit on the post. Haven't lost zero, tightened up the screws. I haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. Big, large window. I kind of do like this finish. I do like the finish a little bit more. I'm curious to see how this holds up over time. But I mean, in terms of actual red dot dollars per dollars, it actually works really good. So I'm not going to sit here and knock it just because it's a more affordable optic. It did fit, you know, it fits the RMR cut. It comes with a complete assortment of screws. It hasn't had any issues. The lighting visibility on it is actually pretty wonderful. You have a lot of brightness settings. You can adjust elevation as well as windage on this guy, so it makes it really easy. The buttons are very easy to press to adjust. And you notice some pretty big changes in this guy. Like, it literally gets insanely bright. So that is a huge bonus, I think. The dot is not super clear for me in terms of like being a perfect circle. And I don't have astigmatism, so I'm not sure what that's about. I think that's the only thing that I would actually knock this on, is that I think that the dot is not exactly 100% crystal clear as some of my other ones are. I believe I was talking to them about getting a smaller one for my CR920 XP, so we'll see how that one comes. I get something for 200 bucks, you know, you get it. The presentation is very nice. You get every single screws, you know, as far as for whatever adjustment that you need already with it. It's pretty hard to beat. And it's actual quality, nice blue Loctite screws. Like, they're not anything cheap, junky that are going to ruin your threads on your gun. It's actually pretty fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 1,000 rounds through this guy, and then we'll come back for some final thoughts. But for the sum of this video, again, 250 rounds, mounted it on there. I did not add any blue Loctite to these, just what came on the screws. Nothing's came loose. It's held at 0. I can shoot tight groups with it, but you know, between, I'd say up to 30 feet, it's pretty simple. Once you get past that, you know, it's an 8 MOA. So, I mean, I'm sure, and they do have other options that you can get that are smaller, but this specific one they sent me is 8 MOA. And again, that's not a knock because that's physically what they advertise they send. Okay, so it's a bigger dot. But all in all, I would say as of right now, it is a safe purchase, especially if you don't want to break the bank. Maybe this is your first optic and you just want something to try out to see if you even want that. I definitely would encourage you guys to check out their website. They have all stuff for all different footprints. You can learn what footprint you are. You can learn what screws you need, and then it all comes with the kit anyways. Let's say you have a Glock, you want to put an optic on it. Let's say you just have a bare bones Glock, you put $500 in the gun, $200 optic, you're $700. You know, you're starting to get up there for just a gun that you want to take plinking and learn how to use an optic system. In terms of other stuff, you know, you buy some other optic, and depending on one with this similar, let's just say, housing, you could be looking at, you know, more than the cost of the gun that you bought. You know, more for the optic than you bought the gun for, which is not very budget friendly. I mean, if you look at that, you could hypothetically buy 1,000 rounds, get some training, learn how to use the optic, and maybe carry it if you feel comfortable with it, and just have that optic. I mean, who knows? So, all right, guys. So initially, I wasn't going to do a final thoughts on this segment, counter to what I had recently just said in the recent video, but in this case scenario, I wanted to, because I actually found out something pretty cool. I messaged the guy. I was explaining to him it's very, very hard to put this cap or this mount the optic on. And although I wasn't able to figure out anything for the actual, you know, fitment, I ended up kind of, you know, I was using this mallet here. So it's got a rubber side, and then this is a little bit harder, but it's still kind of like a rubber. So and I was literally late last night, I was just beating it off and beating it back on there just to see if the optic would break, kind of personally. So not really something fair to do, but the tolerances are insanely tight on that to get that on and off. So I ended up doing it like 5 times in a row. And then, you know, to actually fit it back on, I was literally just hitting it with this mallet, like getting it close, and I was just banging it on there. Optic has had no issues whatsoever. The Optic is very clear. The guy messaged me, and he had said, the guy from Cylee, or Cylee, whatever it is, and he was telling me, he's like, try to tighten down the cap if that's messing with the screws or something like that. So out of curiosity, I ended up tightening down the battery cap, not because it was causing me any issues, but just because I wanted to see if it would change anything on the Optic as far as the reticle size, and it did. So the reticle actually now, for me, with tightening down the cap, is pretty much a perfect circle. So before, when I got it, it was a little bit blown out, just a little bit, and that actually made it tighten up and gave me a very, very crystal clear green circle. So that was actually a pretty cool thing over something so simple like tightening down our battery cap. I don't know if it's going to be a couple weeks or a couple months before we update and see the longevity of this, but I will tell you right now, I don't see it's going to have any problems. I can just tell from you know, mounting it on there, taking it to the range and shooting some decent groups with it, that I really don't see it having any issues. It's definitely a solid option if you're looking for something. Maybe it's for, let's say, a concealed carry gun. You're worried they're going to take your concealed carry gun from you and you won't get it back anyway, so you want a cheaper optic that, you know, cheaper in terms of like affordability. This is definitely a great option for you. Just stay tuned. We're going to have more to come on this guy in the future, probably swap it around on some different pistols, see how it does, see some longevity. You know, put you know, a lot of rounds through it, and we'll see how it holds up. But as of right now, it definitely is a thumbs up. I haven't had any issues with it whatsoever, as I've already explained. Initially throughout the gate, I was pretty rough on it just because I was skeptical. After doing some rounds, it not loosening up, not having issues, mounting it, unmounting it, hitting it with a mallet, it's held up really good. So I'm not going to sit here and bash this company, especially when it's past everything that I've thrown at it, and I am hypercritical on everything. And this, I don't have any complaints. So we're going to see if the Optic's going to have issues. It's going to be because it had issues, and that's why I'm going to flunk it. But this one definitely is a pass. If you're looking for something, like I said, more affordable for a carry gun, you're worried they're going to take your carry gun from you and you're going to lose your Optic anyways, this is definitely a phenomenal option. Also, the customer service, before I leave, the customer service, I messaged, and you know, they're super responsive. They get back with me immediately. I just messaged them on Instagram, and they literally, I mean, we got paragraphs going back and forth. You know, if you need anything, they definitely respond. And that's where it's at too, guys, is having a good customer service department, because if you're having issues, you need to make sure they get taken care of. So perfect, we'll end it there.